GOAT versus BOAT of MMA. Why the greatest of all time is not the same for me as the best of all time, and who those two guys are for me in this video. Hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA.
Salam alaikum to everyone.
It is the debate that you hear so often all around MMA, right? Who is the GOAT? People are pretty quick to throw that term around. Some people call Khabib the GOAT because he's undefeated, where I'm like, bro, are you freaking crazy? Bro had 3 title defenses. Do you not understand what greatness means? Of course, you could make the argument that, yeah, greatness, he was undefeated. Yeah, bro, but I can also just go on the regional scene, win 5 fights, and then I'm the GOAT of the regional scene because I retire 5-0. It doesn't make any sense.
This is #1 bullshit.
Right? Khabib is definitely a great fighter, but he's not even close to being the greatest of all time. There's many people that come in front of him, right? Because greatness is not just winning all your fights and 20 of your 30 fights being no names, and in the UFC only fighting 5 good guys or something, the rest being more or less throwaway fighters, right? That does not give you a greatest of all time status. And all respect to Khabib, but that's just a joke to me. But who is the greatest and the best of all time? Because if you do not have Jon Jones in any of those 2 titles, you are lying to yourself. Because Jon Jones has, of course, you could make the argument that he hypothetically lost to Reyes. You could make the argument that, hey, the judges were wrong, but the judges had an argument to score it for Jon Jones, and he won that fight, which is all that matters at the end, right? It's not like Reyes beat the crap out of Jon Jones and it is absolutely ridiculous that he won that fight. It was a close fight and you could score it for Reyes, I agree. Right? But it's a pretty big distinction there. And he never lost a fight. He has 1 loss on his record, which is he beat the other guy so much and threw 1 or 2 illegal elbows that they had to disqualify him. If that's a loss to you, where he literally beat the living crap out of Matt Hamill and got DQ'd and that is deemed a loss, then with a strike that is now legal, by the way, then you already have a problem with reality, right?
Brain damage.
But Jon Jones is not the greatest of all time for me. For me, it's clear as day that Jon Jones is the best of all time. I do think that it is really not even a big argument that Jon Jones is by far the best fighter of all time. You can call him a duck, whatever, that has nothing to do with that. Nothing. The fact is that he has been around for over a decade now, beating everyone they put in front of him. He has double-digit title defenses. He has more title defenses than a lot of those people you put in a GOAT conversation have even fights in the UFC, right? Double-digit title defenses. If, as I said, if you take the Matt Hamill fight away, he's undefeated and all of that. So he is, in my opinion, clearly the best fighter of all time. He has knockout wins, he has submission wins, he beat people up with kicks, with punches, in the clinch, with submission. He took the wrestlers down. He took Daniel Cormier down, an Olympic wrestler. There is nothing that you can say about Jon Jones. Are there people with better boxing? Yes. Are there people with better this, better? He is the best of all combined. He is the complete package. That is just a fact. You do not have to like him or anything he does to say that. That has nothing to do with that. You just have to be realistic and honest. But there is a reason why he's the best of all time, but not the greatest of all time for me. Because for me, how I define greatness, he can't be the greatest of all time. Because, we have to be honest, a guy that had several arrests because he drove into a pregnant woman, flew the scene and all of that. The whole Las Vegas thing where he bumped his head into the police car and all of that and was drunk and on coke and whatever, beating his wife allegedly.
I beat you after a weekend of cocaine.
And prostitutes.
And failing steroid tests, all of that, that all takes away from your greatness for me. Even though you can argue about the picogram and he just took a pill from the gas station, a boner pill and all of that. You can argue all of those things, but it takes away from the greatness aspect for me, because the greatness is not just if you are the best, it is if you're a great. If the greatest of all time for me is someone that I would point to my kids to and say, hey, be like him. He's him.
I'm him, guys.
That's who, if you want to be a fighter, that's who you should be and aim to be. And that's just not Jon Jones. Skill-wise, yes, 100%. He is the best of all time. But there's a guy that is clearly the greatest of all time for me, and I do accept other arguments, but I do think it is a pretty clear one. It is this guy right here, GSP. Because look,
Here's the thing, you guys.
did GSP also have controversial fights like the Johnny Hendricks fight? Yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, GSP on his record, that's all that matters. What is on your record? He has 2 losses in his whole professional career, 2 losses. He revenged both those losses. Both guys that he lost to, he revenged them. That adds to your greatness, in my opinion. If you can overcome adversity and beat both guys that beat you afterwards. You know what I mean? It's one thing to lose to a guy, and it's another thing to lose to a guy and then beat him in the rematch though. That is real greatness for me. You have 2 losses and you kind of erased both those losses by beating them in the rematch, right? That's what makes greatness for me. And what adds to that as well is he was a double champion or a 2-division champion. He didn't hold it simultaneously. And he never failed a drug test, even though, of course, there were people that accused him of steroids and all of that, but he never failed a drug test. He was always polite, always well-dressed, always showed up on time for every press conference, always talked the normal talk, walked out in the gi, all of that, bow before his opponents. He beat them in all facets of the game. It's not like you cannot be the greatest of all time if you're just a pure grappler or a pure striker. GSP was a full package.
Is he awesome?
He was a karate guy from the base of his style, but he beat wrestlers with his wrestling, even though he never wrestled in college or all of that. He is the complete package. GSP did not really have any weaknesses. Similar to Jon Jones, even though they have different styles, they're similar in that regard. They do not really have any official weaknesses. And he beat people from all across the board. Is submitting Michael Bisping, of course. You can say, man, Michael Bisping said he was injured in that fight. Doesn't matter. He stepped in that cage and fought. And beating a guy like Michael Bisping, beating so many great guys, I do just think that GSP, for me, just with the whole complete package, all the points I mentioned, even how he is now after his career, he's still a role model. GSP is the type of guy, if I would have a son, and you would tell me, hey, your son wants to fight, who do you want him to be like? Or who do you want him to look or watch videos of when he grows up? I would say GSP.
Send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
There's nothing that GSP says that I would not want my son to watch, or there's nothing that he did that I would not want my son to watch. And he accomplished everything you can accomplish. He won 2 different division belts in the UFC, defended his belt multiple times, defeated both guys that defeated him in rematches. Like, you cannot stop mentioning all his good accolades. So for me, GSP is the greatest of all time, whilst Jon Jones is the best fighter of all times. Of course, honorable mentions like Mighty Mouse, like Anderson Silva, even Daniel Cormier you can put in there. There's so many guys that could be honorable mentions that were phenomenal fighters, but those 2 guys, in my opinion, are just something special and clearly win those 2 titles. This is my opinion about the greatest of all time debate. What are your takes? Write in the comments, like this video, guys, subscribe to the channel, would appreciate that, become a member, all the good stuff. I appreciate every support. Check out the links in the bio. Stay bloody, you guys. And until the next one, bye-bye. Bloodsport out.